Simon Kelleher walks into detention like he owns the room. And honestly, at Bayview High, he kind of does. When you run the school's most feared gossip app about that, you don't need popularity, you just need access. And Simon always has access. Sitting in the room with him are four students who should never be in the same place at the same time. Addie Prentice, pretty, polished, and permanently attached to her boyfriend Jake's reputation. Bronwyn Rojas, honor roll royalty and allergic to breaking rules. Cooper Clay, the baseball golden boy who smiles like he's signing autographs in his sleep. Nate McCauley, the school's unofficial bad idea. He's already on probation and somehow he still manages to show up late to detention. None of them admit to having the cell phones that Mr. Avery confiscated, mainly because none of them have ever seen those phones in their lives. The whole situation feels engineered, and Nate points out, with the confidence of someone who's used to calling out nonsense, that it probably is. Then a car crash happens outside. Not a small one, a full-on metal-on-metal disaster that makes Mr. Avery curse under his breath and bolt out the door. He tells them not to move. Naturally, the room's collective first instinct is, what if we did, though? Before anyone gets a chance to test that theory, Simon stands, goes to the water station, pours himself a cup, takes a sip, and drops. No warning, no gasp, just immediate collapse. At first, everyone freezes. They think he's messing around. Simon fakes drama the way other people fake sick days, but this isn't a prank. Simon's face is turning red, then blotchy, then terrifyingly pale. Bronwyn snaps into action, shouting for someone to find his EpiPen. Addie dumps his backpack and finds nothing. Cooper runs to search the nurse's office. Nate flips through cabinets so fast he practically breaks the hinges. There's no EpiPen anywhere. And with every second that passes, Simon gets worse. By the time the paramedics arrive, Simon is barely conscious. The room looks like a crime scene. Papers everywhere, chairs overturned, 4 teenagers looking like they've aged 10 years in 10 minutes. The paramedics work fast, but the ride to the hospital is short and the outcome even shorter. Simon Kelleher is pronounced dead. Bayview High goes from normal school where people stress over prom tickets to crime documentary pilot episode in under an hour. Word spreads fast. And because this is Simon, the kid who knew everyone's dirt, the whispers start before the teachers even announce the news. The cops show up, they interview the students separately. They look at the water cup. They look at the missing EpiPen. They look at the 4 teens who were the last to see Simon alive. The vibe changes instantly. Simon didn't just die. He died in a room full of people who all had something to lose if he lived. And the police, they are very, very interested in those 4 students because someone in that room just inherited Simon's silence. The morning after Simon's death, Bayview High feels like the entire building pulled an all-nighter gossiping. Every hallway hums with theories, every locker slam sounds like a countdown, and the Bayview 4, Addie, Bronwyn, Cooper, and Nate, walk through it like a storm is following only them. Then the police drop a bomb. Simon had unpublished posts scheduled on about that, 4 of them, each one aimed directly at the kids in detention. It's the worst possible group project reveal. Addie's secret drops first. She cheated on Jake last year. Everyone expected Addie to be perfect, and she did too. Now she's terrified that Jake, the guy who practically has a fan club, is about to find out she messed up in a very public, very humiliating way. Bronwyn's secret is next. Our straight-A superstar once stole chemistry exam answers off a teacher's computer. She only did it that one time, but that doesn't stop detectives from circling her like she's been running a black market tutoring ring. The police even bring up an old post Simon made about her sister Maeve, the one where he mocked her chemo and made fun of her at a party. Bronwyn's jaw clenches so tight during the interview, you'd think she was trying to bite through the floor. Cooper's secret comes with a twist. Simon's published rumors said Cooper used steroids. False. But the police find an encrypted file with something Cooper actually was hiding from everyone, even his girlfriend, Keely. Cooper is gay, and he's been seeing a guy named Chris in secret. The detectives corner him in front of his parents, forcing him to say it out loud. It's one of those moments where everyone wants to argue about privacy rights, but there's no time. Cooper's life detonates right there in the living room. His dad is stunned. His teammates start whispering. Keely cries. And Cooper, he looks like he wants to crawl out of his own skin. And then there's Nate. The cops practically have his mugshot printed on a t-shirt already. He has the criminal record, the past drug dealing, the attendance list of poor decisions. Simon even had a post ready calling him a dealer again. And this one is true. Nate stopped as soon as the investigation started, but the timing could not be worse. By now, the cops have built a perfect little narrative. Simon was about to ruin their reputations. They had motives, they had opportunity, they were in the room. It doesn't matter that all 4 secrets are wildly different. It doesn't matter that panic doesn't equal guilt. And it definitely doesn't matter that half the school hated Simon. The police want this case solved, and the Bayview 4 are right there, wrapped in caution tape like some kind of prepackaged scandal. Meanwhile, the 4 teens start drifting apart under the pressure. Addie can't sleep. Cooper tries to train like nothing's wrong. Bronwyn makes color-coded lists that look like they're about to file for divorce from her sanity. And Nate, he shuts down, partly because that's who he is, and partly because it feels like his past is warming up its comeback tour. None of them trust each other, none of them trust the police, and none of them realize how dangerous that combination is. At this point, Bayview High has turned into a place where you can't sneeze without someone assuming it's a clue. The police keep circling the Bayview 4 like they're the only 4 teenagers who ever had secrets, which, to be fair, is adorable. This is high school. Everyone has secrets. Some people just hide theirs behind varsity jackets. But the cops don't care about everyone. They care about the 4 kids in detention. So Bronwyn does what Bronwyn does best. She refuses to sit and panic. If Bronwyn is organized stress, Maeve is organized chaos. A perfect combo. Maeve dives into Simon's online life and discovers something no one expected. Simon wasn't just gossiping. He was cruel. And not the everyday teen mean kind. She uncovers threads where Simon mocked victims of a local school shooting, posts where he joked about tragedy like it was entertainment, comments that made even Bronwyn, who already disliked him, sit back and whisper, "What is wrong with this guy?" Meanwhile, the 4 teens keep getting interrogated like they robbed a bank together. Their parents and lawyers want them separated. No talking, no comparing stories, no strategizing. Which naturally means all 4 of them immediately start doing exactly that. They meet in secret. They trade tiny, dangerous pieces of information. They start acting like a team, not because they're friends, but because they're all equally terrified of jail time. Addie is the first to break the social ice. She reaches out to Janny, Simon's only real friend, and maybe the only person who knew the real version of him. Janny is quiet, withdrawn, and looks like she's convinced the world is set to hard mode. But she starts hanging out with Addie and Bronwyn anyway. Addie, newly single after confessing to Jake, is discovering a shocking truth. Her entire friend group was actually Jake's friend group. She was just a decorative attachment. Now that she's not attached, they turn on her faster than a group chat after a breakup. She's bullied, frozen out, mocked, shoved out of lunch tables, but she also finds something new, actual freedom. She can breathe, she can think, she can be a person instead of Jake's accessory. Cooper, destroyed by being forcibly outed, starts spending more time with Addie too. Their quiet conversations, small, honest moments, are the first time either of them feels normal in weeks. When the school reacts badly to Cooper coming out, Nate steps in, all gruff and annoyed, like he's mad at homophobia on behalf of his personal schedule. And in the middle of all this chaos, something becomes very clear. Everyone's secret is out now, except Simon's, his motives, his mindset, his plan. The Bayview 4 realize they don't just need to protect themselves. They need to figure out who Simon really was and who might have wanted to help him die. The police won't look beyond the 4 of them. So the 4 of them decide to look everywhere else. Just when the Bayview 4 finally start trusting each other, the universe decides to dunk them straight into chaos. Nate gets arrested. loudly, dramatically, and with enough flashing lights to qualify as a discount music video. The cops claimed they found Simon's EpiPen, the poison water bottle, and other incriminating evidence in Nate's house. Not near it, not close enough to look suspicious. Literally in his bedroom, like some kind of discount murder starter pack, and Nate's fingerprints? Not on a single item, which should be helpful, right? Except the detectives look at him like fingerprints are optional when you have a criminal record. Bronwyn is done. Actually done. She watches Nate get dragged away, and it hits her harder than she expects. This isn't a boy she pities or a project she adopted. She cares a lot. And the fact that she realizes this while he's being shoved into the back of a police car does not help her blood pressure. Enter Eli Kleinfelter, a pro bono lawyer who specializes in defending teens the justice system likes to trample. He offers to represent Nate. Bronwyn tries contacting Eli directly, but her parents, in Nate's case, forbid it. So she gets creative. She recruits Nate's brother Ashton as a secret messenger. Ashton pretends to be a normal adult, but honestly, she's basically a covert operative at this point. Then they uncover something wild. Simon hired someone to stage the car accident that pulled Mr. Avery out of detention. He planned it, paid for it, arranged it. Meaning Simon didn't just accidentally drink peanut oil, he engineered the exact situation that led to his own death. Suicide disguised as murder. A tragedy wrapped inside a performance. But here's the problem. Simon couldn't have set the whole thing up alone. Someone planted the phones. Someone moved the evidence. Someone kept posting from Simon's account after he died. Someone helped him. So the group makes a list of suspects, and one name keeps hitting them like a low-budget jump scare. Jake Riordan, Addie's ex. The guy who took her betrayal as a personal end-of-the-world event, the guy Simon had dirt on. The guy who had access to all the right places at all the right times. Addie hates the idea. Jake was her whole life for years, but every clue circles back to him like a GPS with a grudge. The Bayview Four finally accept the ugly truth. This wasn't random. This wasn't spontaneous. And Nate is sitting in a jail cell for a crime the real culprit is still actively covering up. Simon killed himself, but he didn't act alone. Someone helped him, someone who hated Addie enough to want her life burned down, someone who wanted Simon's plan to go bigger, louder, messier. All roads lead straight to Jake Riordan. And Addie, she's caught between heartbreak and horror. She never thought Jake was perfect, but attempted murder adjacent isn't exactly a personality trait she saw coming. He manipulated Jake using Addie's cheating, dangling revenge like a prize. Jake helped plant the fake phones and set the detention trap. After Simon died, Jake became the anonymous poster. Feeding the chaos, Jake forced Janae to plant evidence to frame Addie, but Janie couldn't do it. Addie had been too kind, too human, too undeserving. So Janie planted the evidence in Nate's stuff instead. Addie's heart breaks for Nate and Janie at the same time. And then everything gets worse. Jake arrives, it happens fast. Janie tries to stand up to him, voice shaking but determined. She wants a confession. She wants the truth out loud. Meanwhile, Addie hides behind a door, recording everything on her phone with the courage of someone who really should not be legally allowed near danger. Jake denies everything. Then he snaps. Cooper Clay tackles Jake like the world's angriest linebacker. He rips him off Addie and holds him down until the neighbors call the police. Cooper saves her life. Jake is arrested for attempted murder, conspiracy, and obstruction. It's over. Nate is released. Addie recovers. Cooper finally breathes. Bronwyn stops shaking every time the phone rings. The four aren't just exonerated, they're transformed. Life doesn't magically go back to normal, but it becomes something better. Nate pulls away from Bronwyn. Not because he doesn't care, but because he cares too much and believes she deserves someone without legal baggage and emotional landmines. Bronwyn pretends she's fine because pretending is easier than crying in AP calculus. Months later, Bronwyn performs at a music recital. When she steps off stage, heart pounding, she finds Nate waiting. He apologizes, voice low, eyes soft. He doesn't want to lose her. She doesn't want to lose him. They agree to start over, and for the first time since Simon Kelleher walked into detention, Bayview feels like a place where these four might actually get to live their lives, not survive them.